Hi, folks. Welcome to another edition of the Too Old for Bowl show. I'm your host, Johnny. The topic of today's show is promises. Now, here's how Mr. Webster defines the word promise. Again, I want to say that people who live in glass houses shouldn't throw stones. I've certainly made some promises through the years that I've never kept. Most of the promises I've not kept have been to myself, such as I'm going to lose weight, exercise more, stop being grouchy, and so forth. I made promises to my wife that I've never kept, such as taking her on a trip somewhere, doing a chore around the house, buying something she wanted, and watching my cussing. Sometimes breaking or not fulfilling a promise can have consequences, and sometimes the consequences can be severe. One example is if you have a health issue and promise to see a doctor and don't. That can sometimes have some very serious consequences. I made a promise to get a physical every year on my birthday, which is in June. On my 59th birthday, I told my wife, I feel pretty good, so I'll skip this year and wait until my 60th birthday. Fortunately, that September, I decided I should still get the physical. At that physical, I was diagnosed with prostate cancer. Now, I had no symptoms whatsoever. Had I not kept that promise to myself to get that yearly physical, I might not be making these videos. I might add that prostate cancer is one of the deadliest cancers in men, but it's also one of the most curable. It's easier said than done, but one way of keeping a promise is to think before you make it. Is this promise realistic? Keeping promises is very important in business, especially to customers, suppliers, and employees. Breaking a promise to a customer to ship an order on time, telling a supplier the check is in the mail, or not giving an employee a raise when it's promised can result in serious consequences. You could lose a valued customer or a valued employee, or have a customer cut you off. Here's an example of a broken promise. Many years ago, I was asked by the chairman of the board to take over a company that was going bankrupt. I reluctantly did. I was able to save the company, and I received a $2,000 bonus for that. The following year, we had record profits. The chairman put his arm around me and he said, I like your numbers. You're going to get a bonus beyond your wildest dreams. Yeah, the bonus was beyond my wildest dreams. Nothing. I was loyal to the chairman, but after that broken promise and several others that he broke, I eventually resigned. On a side note, the chairman wanted to move the company to Florida. When I asked him why, he said, well, we'll only have to pay the workers the minimum wage and we'll make a lot of money. I strongly disagreed with him and I advised him not to move. I told him, I said, you pay minimum wages and all you'll get is minimum effort. Well, after I resigned, he did move the company to Florida. It took 1 year for that company to go bankrupt. Sometimes breaking promises can ruin a good relationship. You could lose a spouse or a good friend or even worse. Now, far be it from me to preach. I just want to say, try to be realistic about your promises and think before you make a promise. Try to envision what could happen if you break or do not fulfill the promise. Again, much easier said than done. I want to mention that I had AI take a look at the script for this video. I have to admit that AI did polish my script and came up with a pretty slick script. They were my ideas, but not my words. That said, I'd rather give you my own exact words. Well, that's it for today, folks. I want to thank you all for watching today's show. Please visit the Too Old for Bowl website. After this video, there is a link to the Too Old for Bowl website where you can view my other videos. There's also a link to a page where you can leave your comments. I'd really like to hear your comments on my topics. And please remember, your comments are strictly anonymous. I will never know who the sender is, so don't be bashful. See you on down the trail.